The government says plans are underway to stop masking national registration identity cards or NRIC numbers. This after NRIC numbers were publicly available on a new business registry portal. The government has apologized for the mistake. It says there will be a public education effort on the purpose, use and security of NRIC details in the coming year.
On 9 December 2024, BizFile, an online web system on Accounting and Corporate Regulatory Authority, ACRA, that enables users to file, retrieve and buy business data, launched a new portal. 3 days later, on the 12th of December, former journalist Bertha Henson posted on Facebook showing how easy it was to access NRIC numbers on BizFile. What was supposed to be a simple update turned into a national discussion on the potential invasion of people's privacy. This led to many commenters on Ms. Henson's post were surprised and concerned about the privacy of their personal data. This is because an individual's NRIC number is often considered to be confidential information and should not be retrieved so easily.
I would firstly like to acknowledge the concerns of the public, which we take very seriously. We are very sorry to have caused them much anxiety.
The public backlash was so great that a press conference was called the next week on the 19th of December. The panel included Second Minister for Finance Indrani Raja, Minister for Digital Development and Information Josephine Teo, and ACRA's Chief Executive Chiriteran, Huey Min. During the press conference, an apology was issued to the public, apologizing for the anxiety and confusion caused. The government had only intended to change the practice of masking national registration identity card NRIC numbers only after explaining to citizens the rationale before the BizFile platform was launched. This has led to further public discussion on whether this change was even welcome and what it entailed for Singaporeans. With the conversation regarding this matter still going, it is important to dive deeper into this matter to have a better understanding of this situation. So, what was the change that caused this issue? Under ACRA's previous system, users could search for people who are office holders or business owners in Singapore. Their names, as well as their masked NRIC numbers, would turn up in the search results. To get the complete set of information involving the full NRIC, users would have to pay for this information. This gave the individuals some privacy as their full information was hidden behind a paywall. However, the new system disregards this and shows the information for free, which makes it easier to access this information. This poses a problem as through obtaining an individual's NRIC number, cybersecurity experts cautioned that NRIC numbers can be used by bad actors to trick victims into believing they are authority figures or to commit crime. The exposed NRIC numbers can also be used to collect further information for scams. With police mid-year scam and cybercrime statistics on the rise in Singapore, this is a cause for concern. In the first half of 2024, there were 580 cases of government official impersonation scams in Singapore, with victims losing $67.5 million. This amounts to an average loss of over $116,500 per case. In light of these matters, the Ministry for Digital Development and Information said in its statement that NRIC numbers are meant to be used to identify individuals and should be used as such, similar to how we routinely share and reveal our full names to the public. The ministry also said that the current practice of using masked NRIC numbers gave a false sense of security, as basic algorithms, with knowledge of the individual's year of birth, could make a good guess of the full NRIC number, as is not as protected as many Singaporeans would feel. The ministry also recognized that it would take some time to adjust to this new way of thinking and will carry out public education in 2025. Authentication would also require more than just the NRIC number in the future. ACRA, who manages the BizFile portal, apologized for releasing this update before the public education done by the government. So, how has the public responded to this? To put it mildly, not well. The fact that a press conference was called showcases the gravity of the situation. Many comments across the different social media platforms spoke negatively about this situation, and it was hard to find a positive comment. On Reddit, one comment mentioned that the individual genuinely did not understand what has happened the past few days with the whole NRIC thing, feeling that the masking of the NRIC was the correct call, but because of the ACRA mess-up, suddenly it does not matter anymore, and the NRIC should not be masked anymore. This is quite crazy, considering a lot of stuff is still tied up to the NRIC. The decisions the government is taking recently are quite mind-boggling. Another Reddit comment mentioned that so basically, of the ACRA mess-up, everyone now needs to rush to implement this yet to be declared policy, and in the meantime, everyone is put at risk of getting some sort of scam. On YouTube, a comment mentioned that this was clearly a privacy breach due to the exposure of NRIC numbers to the public, and on Facebook, a comment referenced a previous case when PDPC fined organizations for failing to safeguard NRIC numbers. On TikTok, a comment referenced the example of Simply Go to reference a previous mistake by a Singapore ministry. On a more positive note, there was also a comment praising the government for apologizing for their mistakes. So, what are my final thoughts? While the government has good intentions to phase out reliance on NRIC to protect us, they seem to have jumped the gun on this. The lack of coordination between ACRA and MDDI led to widespread panic and debate on NRIC numbers being made public information, especially with it being regarded as private and confidential by many Singaporeans, hence the backlash. There is still a lack of information regarding how Singapore will move past using NRIC and what concrete measures will be in place for this. Hopefully, they will be able to come up with a concrete plan that will be able to put Singaporeans at ease.